LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And thanks for tuning in. Todd Bailing in beautiful, sunny, warm Phoenix, Arizona, joined by two of my three partners who are still back in Cheeseland on the eastern side of the state. It's Brian Schmidt of Ootsburg, USA. Hi, Brian.
Good morning. How about that? A gold medal for the USA in hockey. That hasn't happened since I was 4 years old.
Hockey. And, of course, covering the west side of the state on the left coast there, Mississippi River-ish, PJ Noodleman. Hi, PJ.
Good morning.
And our roving correspondent just got off the plane in Las Vegas, Dan Margetta. Did you get your luggage? He's got a headset on while he's claiming his luggage right now.
I got the luggage. Now we're looking for a Lyft or Uber to Circa so we can get to our hotel.
Uh-huh. Bring plenty of money with you, Dan?
Oh, enough to make it happen.
There you go. Here's a guy that goes hunting with one bullet because he always comes back with something pretty amazing. Boy, did we, what a week this has been. We had a fantastic Daytona 500 to get the season started last week. Now we're racing at Atlanta, where the racing has, if you haven't caught any of the racing yet, OMFG, it's been spectacular. Here at the old mile-and-a-half Atlanta racetrack. I suppose we could just mention Tyler Reddick. He's been the name. Not only did he win the Daytona 500, but because of the formula that NASCAR comes up with, because their qualifying was rained out at Atlanta, Tyler Reddick will start from the pole today. When the race starts, it is going to be televised on the big network, Fox, your local Fox affiliate. 2:19 Central Time. Get this. Doesn't this make you wish you were sitting in the stands? Highs in the 40s with a 20-mile-an-hour wind gusting to 35. Yeah, baby. There's some race fans there. Unbelievable.
It's really unfortunate for Atlanta where their dates lie, because the racing is so spectacular, and people say, well, the people in Atlanta don't support the race. Well, it's because the weather is garbage, I mean, your race now is cold, and when you have the second race of the year and it's in February, you never know what you're going to get in Georgia. And your second race is in July or June, late June, early July, whenever they have it usually, and it's hotter than blazes, and you're going to, melt your ass when you sit on the seat. So it's like, if they could ever get a date with really good weather, they would pack that place, because the racing is spectacular.
Yeah, it was really good yesterday. Sheldon Creed, after finishing second 15 times in his career, finally won his first ever NORP race after Austin Hill tried to chop off Ross Chastain in the last lap and got himself all squirrely and caused a cluster. And not only did Sheldon Creed win it, Clark Kent finished second. Parker Retzlaff of Rhinelander finished second. It was
How about that?
How about that? Yeah. Next thing you know, he's going to win one of these. Did anybody know he was a decent driver before he started competing on the big stage? You know that he's a graduate of the Midwest Truck Series? These 602 crate engines, he went right from that into NASCAR. Not bad. Way to go, kid. And in the trucks, Kyle Busch won on a time limit race. They had some rain in the morning, and it took them a while, and they had to dry the track and fart around, and they said, because we have a NORP race that we have to put on here, we have a time limit. And here they just told them when they were going to throw the white flag, and it was pretty good. I kind of like this time limit thing. We're going to let you guys race for an hour and a half, and then we're going to throw a white flag.
I didn't like it that much.
You didn't?
No. Mostly because I think they wasted a lot of time dickering around with stuff that could have been a little more streamlined.
Yeah, the reason they did that time limit is because of the different networks. And the CW has the O'Reilly race and Fox had the truck race. So if Fox was going to go long, it would cut into CW's time, and they weren't going to give that up to let Fox go long.
Right.
And then the truck race would be going on while the CW people were on the air. So you'd have trucks going on in the background while they're going. I mean, that's how screwed up that is. I mean, it's only 10 laps. I mean,
Yeah, it was only 10 laps.
and then when I saw it was a time limit, and then I saw that the Norp race ended. I think it ended before 7:30 our time here, which is I think are they in the same time zone as us? They might be. It wasn't even that late, but that just goes to show TV rules the roost.
Yes, and they did have lights there. I thought it was because they wanted to get it all in. No. They raced under the lights, and a wonderful race it was too. The racing itself has been absolutely unreal. How does a guy suddenly get a run and pass 3 trucks or cars for the lead on the last? Oh, not necessarily the last lap, but in the last corner. That fourth turn, there's been some spectacular racing going on there. Big fun. We're going to have a good race today. 260 laps. The stages will be on lap 60 and 160. It's, like I said, getting underway at 2:19 our time. So no problems there. Be great stuff. If you'd like to participate in this program at any time, give us your thoughts on either Atlanta or Daytona or time limits or whatever you'd like to give it your 2 cents worth. We'd love to hear it at 414-421-7901, and we'll talk to you. Last week's Daytona race with Tyler Reddick coming out the winner. 2 crashes on the last lap. A big mess as the lap got started, and a massive wreck as they're coming to the line. Tyler Reddick and Michael Jordan go to victory lane. Jordan, after getting that huge settlement out of NASCAR, no wonder he was smiling. Jim France, to his credit, came over and shook his hand in victory lane, and it was pretty awesome. Yeah, son of a bitch, the big smile on his face. You could just feel it, couldn't you? But what a race it was. 25 leaders, 65 lead changes, only 5 cautions in the race last week. That's the fewest in over 20 years. Last time there was that few was in 05. So, but now that all being said, of the 41 cars that were in the race, 37 of them at one point or another were involved in an accident. Can you imagine that? But these cars are pretty bulletproof, and it came out last week. Give us your thoughts on the race. Let's start with Brian. First of all, I know you're a Tyler Reddick fan, so you had to be happy.
Yeah, that was really cool to see Tyler Reddick win that race for sure. I really thought it was going to be Chase Elliott when you see him head into turn 3 and he's got the gap that he has there. I thought, oh boy, the grandstands are going to go crazy. But then things happened at the end. But as a whole, I just can't get by the 3 wide driving around stuff that we had to witness for. I don't know, Dan, that was well over an hour where we just had him riding around, right? I mean, that's all it seemed like. And we knew it, and you could tell the people around us were like, some people who aren't quite into it, like, oh my God, they're 3 wide all the time. But you could tell they were going slower, and that part, I think, just kind of spoiled it a little bit for me.
But for a not regular fan watching that, they're looking at 3 wide. That's awesome, and they don't understand that everybody's running half throttle or whatever.
And I don't know how you fix it. And Dan, you and I discussed this after the race, Dan. I mean, I don't know how you fix this, right? I mean, there is no real solution.
No, you really can't, because there's an advantage now for gaining position on pit road and not on the racetrack, and it's easier to do it on the pits. So that's what they do. Everybody, does fuel mileage stuff, so they could make up their ground there instead of having to do it on the racetrack like it used to be. Out the bottle, you're not putting it back.
If it wasn't for the fact that television showed lap times, we did have lap times that were shown. And how would we have known that those laps those guys were taking were 4 seconds per lap slower? Holy crap. That's huge. But I was really surprised what you just said, Brian, that you could tell that they were slower.
I mean, you could tell there was just riding because there was really nothing going on. They're literally just riding. And then, I mean, the cat really came out of the bag when MRN, the pit reporter from MRN, or the in booth, he used to be a crew chief. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Came on there and said,
Todd Gordon.
Todd Gordon, yes. Todd Gordon said, they're running 3 wide now because they're going at a slower pace. Once you get up to the full pace, these cars will not be able to go 3 wide because the top groove won't have enough momentum to keep up with it. And you're like, well, sure enough, and then you look at timing and scoring, and they are going that slow. And sure enough, as soon as they got going real fast, the 3 wide thing didn't work. But I mean, I think it's still better than, 5-6 years ago. I remember being at the 500 and they ran around single file for 45 minutes, not doing anything either. But I think it's just the nature of this event now, because when you do race that hard, you are going to crash. And I want to say it was like maybe the 2017 500. So many cars crashed out right away that there weren't many left to run the entire race. So, I mean, other than making it a 100-mile race or a 200-mile race, I think this is what we're going to have because there really is no other solution.
We'll talk a little bit more about Daytona, give you a little preview of Atlanta, all the good stuff going on after we take a break. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
What I was most impressed with in the Daytona 500 last week was the fact that they are finally becoming a little more judicious when it comes to throwing cautions. Just because somebody spins doesn't necessarily mean you have to be right on that yellow switch. Just wait and see what happens here. It's a 50-second lap. We got time for things to work its way out. We can possibly keep going rather than just keep throwing cautions. I was watching the race and enjoying it immensely, and my phone started buzzing, and I got some text messages from Robbie Reiser, who was watching that from his home in North Carolina. And here's a couple of his comments to me. I think you'll find them pretty insightful. Oh, imagine that. NASCAR wins today for not throwing a caution and letting the race finish. Wrecked about every car in the field. It was a classy move on Jim France's part, shaking hands with Jordan in victory lane. Hopefully NASCAR's going in the right direction. Sure looked better. They probably need to fix the gas savings part. Stage racing causes a lot of it. You could tell how slow they were going. It was a good finish. A 500-mile race should be run as is. I think it would help if the fan if they didn't have stage racing, because I don't think most people can keep up with the point system. The problem with stages is it sets up fuel savings throughout the race. It's really not a 500-mile race when you split it in three. With that said, each race looks more the same because of the stage racing. Otherwise, unplanned cautions, each race had its own characteristics, if you know what I mean. So there were so many positives from last week that it's hard to really. You'd have to stretch, I think, to come up with negatives. So they're on the right track. You can't control really how many times guys are going to run into each other, which is the nature of racing at Daytona. You guys could probably feel it coming when they happened, didn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I agree with what Robbie said. As soon as they started wrecking in turn one after they took the white, I'm like, now this is going to end under caution, and then they just let it go. As long as a guy isn't taking like a massive hit, where you think, oh my gosh, that guy could be hurt. I think it's all right to keep him going. And there too, you're in turn one. They got to come all the way around. Safety was getting ready to pull out there while they're still racing on the other side. So, I mean, they know and they're monitoring it. So the fact that they let that go several more times, I mean, the hit, Chase Elliott's hit was the one I was almost more worried about. That was like right in front of us. And I thought, oh boy, he took a heck of a hit. And safety was out right away for that too.
Yeah, that one was a lot worse. And actually, once that first wreck happened, I'm glad they kept it green as well too. It made for a good race to the finish. We would have had a really close race to the finish. If you see that, the 45 Reddick got a run on Elliott, and then 35 of Herbst kind of
did what Herbst does, right?
triggered the whole big wreck at the finish there. Otherwise, yeah. There's a terrible Herbst station right now. I just passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in Vegas. Yeah, Herbst got some negativity from some drivers, and his teammates loved him. And so, if your whole point of being there is to help your own team to a win, he did what he was supposed to do, and I don't know that it was as bad as those other drivers made it out to be. So, this is one for the ages, I think. Tyler Reddick is a hell of a race car driver. He put a hell of a move on at the end of that race. He deserved to win it, and it was fun to watch. The only lap he led all day. Imagine that.
Score one for the Dirt Late Model guys. You know?
No kidding.
I saw him run his first race. I think it was 2009. He was 13 years old. He was running his World of Outlaw Late Model at Farmer City Raceway, and he was just this little kid with a mop hair of like blonde hair. Couldn't wait to sell us his T-shirts, and I didn't even know the kid was racing. And Tim Chrisman, who was the head of the World of Outlaws, said that. He goes, "Oh yeah, this guy's going to make his World of Outlaw debut tonight." I go, "What is he, like 8?" He goes, "Oh, 13, but nobody knows that." I'm like, oh wow.
Oh my, that's pretty good. Michael McDowell ran the last 66 laps of the race without stopping. It was a next-gen era record, if they have such a thing. Imagine that, 66 laps without stopping for fuel. That's how slow they were going there.
And the late caution is the only thing that saved him, because he was out there all by himself before that caution came out, and the field was going to catch him and just blow by him like he was tied to a tree. So the caution was the only thing that saved him, or he would have ran out of gas, and he would have been way behind everybody.
Yes, but what a finish anyway. We have to say R.I.P. Harry Hogg died this week. You remember Harry Hogg?
My favorite actor.
Robert Duvall, who played a loosely based Harry Hyde. I met Harry Hyde one time, and Duvall was absolutely amazing in that role. Who knew the guy was 95 years old? Holy crap!
He's a tough old bird too.
Yes, he was. He certainly was. So that's one we'll remember for a long time. The ratings for Daytona were up across the board. Every single event was better ratings than, from over last year, but over recent years. It was good. I mean, all the way across, I believe that there were positives and not a lot of negatives that came from Daytona, which is really good after having such a negative winter they had. But is that the end of the negativity from NASCAR?
Before you go to the negativity, one more big positive thing we have to give NASCAR a tip of the hat to is moving that race up 1 hour. I mean, that was massive in getting that thing in and done. I mean, when the race was over and we were walking ourselves back out, it was pitch black to the west of the track. And if they would have started at their normal time, there is no way they would have gotten that thing done in time without having, big time storms come in, because we got back to the car. There were big drops falling. We were starting to get wet. And as soon as we got back to the hotel, all hell broke loose as far as storms. And you add a whole nother hour to that, you don't get that done. So kudos to NASCAR. Everybody was able to get out of the facility for the most part without having to be in that weather. The race was done in time. The only thing was their fireworks at the end. It wasn't completely dark. That was the only thing that probably hampered them and why they would want to run it later. But other than that, tip of the hat for starting it early. And they need to show this worked really well. Don't be afraid to do that more often throughout the year.
In other words, use common sense.
Yes.
Or one for the meteorologist. I'd never been a fan of them in the past, but boy, they're sure getting it better. We're going to talk to you about this great negativity that came this week, because the last thing we really needed was another lawsuit. But here we are. We're going to talk about it when we come back. Hang in there.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines. Just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
So you wondered what happened to Chris Gabehart, did you? He was he was a crew chief at Joe Gibbs Racing, and then he was a crew chief for Denny Hamlin's car, correct, guys?
Yes.
And then he got moved up into the role, like Robbie Reiser did, of overseeing everything at Joe Gibbs Racing, like the competition director, let's say that way. Okay, so in the meantime, Grandpa's little angel isn't producing like everyone expected him to be producing. And they took Chris Gabehart and brought him over to work directly with Ty Gibbs. And that didn't help. I don't think they got along that good. I think the whole thing was kind of ugly. At what point did we know that Gabehart was going to leave Gibbs last year? It was like, did we know he was going to, and when did it happen? I don't necessarily remember that.
I think it officially happened after the end of the season. I mean, he went in there and things weren't going well, and he asked to have full control of everything, and then he didn't get it. So he started working on a separation deal then and said he was out. That was after Phoenix. And
there was a mindset that he was going over to Spire. It was a rumor. Everyone kind of assumed it. He was going to go to Spire. I am not exactly sure how this all works, but apparently Gabehart had a bunch of setups, not just setups. He had all kinds of inner workings and algorithms and all that sort of thing either in his phone or in his own personal laptop. If it was in his personal laptop, I can't imagine why it is that he got busted. But he did, and now there is an $8 million lawsuit from Joe Gibbs. They're suing Chris Gabehart. Now, I talked to I'm not going to tell you who I talked to, but they know about this sort of thing. By the way, it's nobody that works at Roush and nobody that works at Hendrick, okay? And I asked about, the proprietary notes, all the things about a team that Gabehart stole. And this person told me in text messages, everything belongs to the company. It has been always clearly stated in contracts. It has to be that way. If not, it would be an open market. He did steal and share them, and there are plenty of ways to hide it better. Everyone always had setup info saved. They just didn't send it through the internet, LOL. I'm guessing he shared the computer programs that Gibbs had for setups and technology. Information is unprintable. You can't print algorithms. In today's world, you can use all the notes you want, but true speed still comes from simulation programs. It isn't like it used to be where you could take a setup sheet and copy it and find speed. Simulation programs factor in track conditions, weather, aero on the car, and anything else you can load up. With Gibbs going after $8 million, my guess is that he shared the algorithm on how the Gibbs Toyota simulation actually works, because it costs millions to build these computer programs. So that's a little inside information there without naming anything. Gibbs, he does seem like a nice guy, unless you piss him off. He smile with, when the camera's on and say, yeah, that Matt Kent said he did a great job for us. And then as soon as the camera's off, but you're fired, that'll always stick in my ass. Sorry. I thought differently of him after that whole thing. Not just because it was Matt Kenseth. He did the same thing with other drivers too. That's just the one that sticks a little harder. Now, where Gabehart this week, guys, he signed, and it finally made it official that he went over to Pride. Hello?
Yes, he did. Sorry, I didn't know.
Over to Spire is where he went.
Spire, I mean, yeah.
So he's a chief motorsports operator or officer or something like that, which means running everything.
I'd say Prime. Yeah, and he's not afraid. He came right out and said, let's go to court. Let's bring it on. You can't prove anything. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems kind of brazen to me. Either they got him or they don't. I can't imagine. Maybe they found in his company computer, maybe they found files that had been emailed externally. That's all I can imagine.
Well, they did find something. It's a computer that was Joe Gibbs' property that I think they took back. And in that computer, there was a folder that said Spire.
You gotta be sure.
Not the wisest thing to do.
No.
Doesn't help your case. But, maybe he didn't really do that. Maybe they created that after the fact, and there will be people who are able to actually tell when something was created. I don't know.
So I don't know what the timeline is on this lawsuit, but, we've spent our share in court recently, and we don't necessarily need to keep it going. I don't know where this is going. If Gabehart, if the lawyers think that Gabehart has some sort of a case, they'll probably do some hush-hush settlement and it'll be all over with.
Well, and you're going to start to see non-compete clauses in everybody's contract, too, which means if you choose to leave the company or you're fired, you can't work somewhere for X amount of years.
I believe there are non-competes in a lot of contracts. Guys have to sit for a while, but that's all negotiable, too,
Yeah, they're out there, but they're just very hard to enforce, especially if the other person leaves not on their own doing. I get if they leave on their own, you can't go somewhere else. But if they get fired, then it's hard to make them not work somewhere else.
We're pretty excited today. We're going to announce all the drivers who are going to be sponsored on the 2026 Team Bonafide. It's a pretty big deal across the state of Wisconsin, and our own Mike Egan will be joining us after these messages to announce the 2026 Team Bonafide members. We'll be right back.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Oh, that's beautiful music. We get to announce this is a big day. Mike Egan, first of all, welcome to the program. I understand you just basically got back to Cheeseland.
Yeah, just came back last night.
And where were you, young man?
We went down to Florida for a week, did a little racing with Artie Hahn at Auburndale, and then we went over to South Carolina and played golf a little bit, and then we went to Atlanta, did a little more racing. So just kind of getting out and about for the winter. Went and saw the modifieds at New Smyrna. Those things are something, boy.
Interesting. And this is a big day for Team Bonafide. You've got a list in front of you. I saw on the internet you posted all the people that had that were finalists, but we're going to finally hear who's going to represent Bonafide this year.
Yep. It's quite a process to get it whittled down to the final 20, but I think we've got a good group of people assembled for this year.
Okay, let's hear them.
Well, like usual, we have our returning members and anchor members, Nick Egan, Hunter Cardinal, Mitch Haver, and Johnny DeAngelis. This year returning, we have Logan and Aiden Prunty, Tyler Ramatka, and Jackson Jump. And then new members are going to be, and this is what everybody's waiting for, I think, Kyle Walgren, Connor Carey, Carter Nielsen, James Swan, Mason Leitke, Chris Budsban, Will Gertis, Bennett Narrison, Rose Borntrigger, Austin Stanky, Garrett Scott, Cooper Heinz, and last but not least, Tyler Davis.
Wow. What a nice list that is.
A couple sprint car drivers in there that I hear. Will Garrett and
Tyler
Davis.
We got everything from dirt cars, street stocks, go-karts, super late models, kind of everything in between.
James Swan on that list. We know him. And Rose Borntrigger, how about that? She won a late model feature at the Dells this year. So a pretty impressive list there, Mike.
Well, thank you. We appreciate everything LTN Hour does for racing and the racing community also.
Well, we hope that we're all listening and are all toasting each other right now. It's pretty great stuff. What's next for Mike? Where are you going next?
I guess the cat's probably out of the bag, but Nick's going to be running the Midwest Tour for Rookie of the Year this year. And a couple other select races at Slinger, like the Nationals and probably the Triple Crown. I'm going to be doing a couple of pro late races at Slinger and Kaukauna, and then I'll do the Triple Crown super late races at Slinger this year too. So between the two of us, we got like 35 or 36 races, I think.
That makes for a full summer, doesn't it?
It sure does, and then throw in grandkid activities in between there, and it's really full.
Yeah, and traveling now that he's going to be going for Rookie of the Year. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's fun to go to different tracks and meet some different people, so we're really looking forward to that. I mean, the Midwest Tour, they're making a lot of changes over there with everything that's changed. Looking forward to that, looking forward to the traveling.
Mike Egan, thanks for coming on, and good luck with Team Bonafide in 2026.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. We appreciate everybody. Have a great day.
We'll talk soon. Mike Egan. Imagine what they all do for racing. It's pretty cool. And now that Nick is going to run for Rookie of the Year in that series, how about that? That's news in itself here.
Those Slinger super late model races are sure going to have a full field of cars. My goodness. It's about everybody you talk to says they're going to run those races. So that's pretty cool to see.
It is.
Yeah, I also saw that Chase Motorsports is going to have Casey Johnson running at Slinger full time this season too.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, wow. Well, he's been helping other drivers that race at Slinger. Say, for instance, he was the guy pretty much coaching and developing such talent as Slinger Super Late Model Track Champion in that 17 car, and star of stage and mostly television.
We have a caller.
Okay, let's take the call, Matt.
Hey, Bob from Sun Prairie.
Hi, Bob.
I work for a software company. So here's my analogy. Instead of putting a camera in your bathroom to see what your wife is up to, they have items in the software to see who's playing around doing what. I'm actually in the process of upgrading a couple of our products to do just that, to make sure that if someone changes something or somewhere they shouldn't be, we know exactly who was there, when, and why. So guaranteed that's what Gibbs did, is they have trackers in that software, saw what he was up to, and now they have the evidence, and they're Gapehart's playing poker with them, or if he doesn't know that this is what they have, and they haven't laid their hand down yet.
Okay, that makes some sense. That makes some sense.
It's very easy to do. It's very common in software. We like to see who's doing what and so forth, especially with using the applications. So you can do it on the same side, put it in the background, and monitor what goes on there, too. So just a little insight. Appreciate it, everybody. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks for calling. Yeah, I think until we really know, both of them seem to be quite confident in their position, so it's hard to tell who's got the juice on this one to win the case. So we'll have to see. We will be back right after this break.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Unlike most seasons where when the Daytona 500 comes and goes, the dirt Speed Week season kind of ends and we take a long break. That is not the case this year. In fact, I would argue Speed Weeks is picking up in Florida after the 500. So we'll go Thursday night, Ocala, Florida. The UMP Modified Speed Week kicked off there for 3 nights of action. Devin Dixon picked up the win there Thursday night. Lake City, Florida, the All-Tech Raceway, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series season opener. $10,000 to win for them. Brandon Shepard made it 2 in a row. He won last Saturday at Volusia. Picked up the win Thursday night there. Friday night, Milton, Florida, the Southern Raceway, the USCS 360 Sprint Car Series. Davey Franick was your winner, and the IMCA Modifieds were there. Troy Morris III from Iowa picked up the win there. Night number 2 in Ocala, Florida for the UMP Modifieds. Pierce McCarter was the feature winner. Down in Clewiston, Florida, the Hendry County Speedway, the World of Outlaw Late Model Series Swamp Cabbage Shootout. $12,000 to win for them. Bobby Pierce picked up the win down there. Night number 2 at All-Tech Raceway in Lake City, Florida for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. $12,000 to win. Devin Moran led every lap and dominated Friday night's feature. Last night, one race outside of Florida, Casa Grande, Arizona, the Central Arizona Raceway, the ASCS 360 Sprint Car Series was there. Justin Peck picked up the win. Back to Florida, Milton, Florida, night number 2 at the Southern Raceway for the USCS 360s. Chris Martin was your winner. The Modifieds was Troy Morris III again. Ocala, Florida, final night of the UMP Modified Speed Week, $4,000 to win. Lucas Lee picked up the win there. Lake City, Florida, the All-Tech Raceway for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, $15,000 to win. Hudson O'Neill picked up the win there. They got that done just as a thunderstorm was approaching and washed out the rest of the night there. And finally, the big race of the weekend was down in Clewiston, Florida, the Hendry County Speedway for the World of Outlaw, the Swamp Cabbage 100. $20,000 to win, and Nick Hoffman held off Bobby Pearson, a really good race down there to pick up the win there. And Speed Weeks is still not over. This week, starting on Tuesday night, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series will run 5 consecutive nights down at Ocala Ocala Raceway. So you can watch that on Flow. So really different feel to Speed Weeks this year, as it just doesn't end with the 500, which is kind of cool. Keeps us busy through March. That is everything for this week.
All right, on to the asphalt side of things. Last night, the Spears Cars Tour West was at the Bull Ring out in Las Vegas, where Dan Margetta is right now. Super late model winner was Taylor Mayhew. Notables were Jace Hansen 2nd, Keelan Harvick 5th, and Weston Marthaler was 7th. Speedfest at Cordell Motor Speedway in Georgia was supposed to be in January, but the weather was not cooperating, so it was rescheduled to this weekend. However, the weather was still a bit of a challenge. Officials were juggling the schedule, trying to beat Mother Nature to get last night's Speedfest in, but it just did not happen. Instead, super late model qualifying will be today at 11 o'clock our time, Central. And then the 125-lap feature for the super late models will be on tap today at noon. If you are interested in watching, you can catch it on Racing America. And that is a wrap for the asphalt results this week.
Before I disappeared, I was mentioning that Casey Johnson was the coach for not just the champion at Slinger Speedway, Grant Griesbach, but also for the late model champion, Jaden Johnson, no relation. And it turns out Jaden is one of the 4 Wisconsin drivers that have made the final 15 in the Kulwicki Driver Development Program, including Billy Braun of Wales, Wisconsin, age 18, Jevin Goralski of Wausau. He's also 18, and he was very impressive when I saw him at Jefferson this year. And Penn Sauter of DeForest at age 16. Those 4 drivers among the 15 are finalists. Now we got to find out. It's going to take a little while to figure out who gets the money, but it's pretty great. Also, Rich Bickle is going to race next week. I know what you're saying. I thought he retired. Yeah. That ship sailed. He's a part-timer now. He likes to come back and make appearances. He's going to race at Auburndale, Florida next week, where you've heard us mention a couple times now. And I believe it's $20,000 to win, right?
Yes, it is. $20,000 to win, $1,000 to start.
And Brazen Bennett also is going to be racing down there.
As well as Kendrick Cryer.
Oh, Kendrick is there too. Okay. So a couple of Wisconsin guys there. But for $20,000, that's not a bad payday at Auburndale, Florida, coming up next week. All right. There is a new tire. It's a right side tire only for Atlanta, just for the Cup Series. The lower divisions kept the same tires they raced on before, but we're going to find out how this is going to work. The new right side tire wears faster. I don't know what was wrong with it before, but the racing has been so damn good there, I wouldn't want to mess with it, but they did. So we're going to find out if that makes any kind of difference whatsoever. So we find out today. Also, Dan Margetta, Jusen, which sounds like Susan, except it's a guy, Jusen Hamilton, who worked for NASCAR, is been named the Alpha Prime Racing team president. I didn't know what Jusen did for NASCAR, and I certainly don't know exactly what Alpha Prime Racing is, and I know you won't know all that stuff.
Oh, he was the race director, remember? He was the race director for many years, and suddenly he just left and kind of went away and didn't know why.
The guy that pushed the switch too quick. That was him.
Correct. And then the Alpha Prime is the O'Reilly Series team right now, the 44 and 45. Tommy Joe Martin's is part of that. Brendan Poole, I think, drives the 44 car this year. The 45's got different drivers in it, I believe, but they've been around for a while. So that's where that is. He just kind of, they said he wasn't working with us anymore with NASCAR, and now he showed up here with Alpha Prime. But he was the race director for a couple years.
All right. Well, he has a pedigree. I don't know what he's going to do for a race team, for a back marker. Let's be honest, a back marker race team in the NORP series. But it should be interesting to follow up with that. Hey, you guys realize that Chimney Mechanics has been a sponsor of ours now for the last little over a year. And they did this last year. They're doing it again this year. They have an exclusive discount only for people that listen to LTN. It's going to be good until the 15th of March. They have $50 off any chimney or fireplace inspection, sweep, or repair. $50 off dryer vent cleanings, and $100 off air duct cleanings. You find them on Facebook. It's Chimney Mechanics with an X. And give them a holler and tell them that you want the LTN discount. It's for Wisconsin addresses only, even though Chimney Mechanics covers multi-states. This is only for folks that live in the state of Wisconsin. So if you're interested, that's where you go. And it's pretty great that he does this just for LTN listeners, for sure. We're very glad you're tuned into the program. We'll sneak away for our last break, and we'll come back and talk about Atlanta today. Hang in there.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Yeah, Brian, that's a good point. We suddenly have this relationship with Indy cars, which is kind of interesting. Next week, St. Petersburg, Florida road course, Indy cars will be the main event, but the NASCAR Truck Series is going to race a street course. Has NASCAR Truck Series ever raced on a street course before?
No, they have not. No, this will be a first for them. The Only Bulls Green Flag 150 is what they're calling it.
Only Bulls?
Yes. Yes. I don't know what that is. We'll have to...
Only balls, apparently.
Yeah. But kind of cool if you look at it. I mean, if you're in the Florida area, this would be a cool event to check out because it is a smorgasbord of different types of racing. The Mazda MX-5 Cup, the NTT IndyCar Series, the Indy Next Series, the USF 2000, and the trucks are all going to be down there at the same time. And it's basically from like sun up to sundown. There's cars on the track on that street circuit there. So it's an established street circuit for those that don't follow IndyCar. They've been racing there, I'd say probably upwards of 20 years. And it kind of comprises the front stretch is the airport they have there. They use the airport front stretch, and then they go out into the streets and around a soccer stadium, which used to be a baseball stadium, back down along like the marina, and then back into the airport again. So it's kind of a neat little circuit. It's very tight though, so to see the trucks run in that tight quarters of that track is going to be interesting. And I kind of can't wait to see what the entry list is going to look like. It's not out yet, but I'm sure there's going to be some guest drivers in some of those trucks that are going to make it, pretty interesting to see.
And then all this kissy-kissy relationship goes to Phoenix after that, when on Saturday of NASCAR weekend, Indy cars are going to race at the same track, and it's a double header as the NORP Series. So we got a stock car race and an Indy car race on the same track on the same day. Wow,
and I think this is, with Fox purchasing the IndyCar Series last year, I think that's what kind of spurred this, and with Fox having the, TV rights to the first half of the Cup season, it just makes sense, right? You're going to have all your people there. The same group that covers on the cameras and all that stuff for IndyCar are going to be the ones that are probably going to do the NASCAR for the weekend. And same thing with the trucks. Fox does all the trucks all year long, so it makes sense for them to do that. And I think this is a good tie to get it crossed over. And I heard a little a snippet of a press conference, I think it was Friday, where Daniel Suarez was talking about, he's kind of friends with Pat O'Ward, and they have the Mexican connection, and he's excited about this because, he never gets to see an IndyCar race being on the NASCAR side, and he's hoping, the fans will come around and go, stick for both races and check it out and, maybe build on both sides of it. Everybody pulling the rope the same direction, I think, is going to help all motorsports involved. And instead of always having, for all these years, you kind of had IndyCar against NASCAR. It was us versus them. Working together, I think, is the best for everybody, and especially two places with beautiful weather, Phoenix and St. Petersburg. Perfect places to roll this out and see how this works.
And while the trucks are racing at St. Petersburg street course, the Cup cars and the NORP cars go to COTA in Austin, Texas next week for that road course. So it's a road course weekend next week, as we are accustomed to now.
And that truck race at St. Petersburg, for us that want to check that out on I think it's FS1, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. is the green flag for that race. So, have your breakfast Saturday morning and you'll be able to see the trucks right away after.
Plan ahead.
Yeah. They practice and qualify Friday night at 3 and 5 o'clock, and then they race right away in the morning. So it's not even a 24-hour deal there, and they're in and out.
It's going to be interesting for sure on the streets. Ooh-wee.
It just might be single file, and that would be disastrous as far as I'm concerned. All right, we're going to Atlanta today. Not naturally, as you might imagine, none of us had picked a 45 car to win last week. I suppose I'll go the closest. I was the only one to pick a Toyota last week. Thought it was going to be Briscoe.
Hey, the guy I picked was leading when they took the white flag.
Yeah, blah.
I was close.
All right, I'm not telling you who I'm picking here first. As a matter of fact, we're going to start with PJ today. We're trying to mix them up a little bit. Are you going to go out on a limb or?
No, I'm not. And the reason I'm not is Blaney is noted as he's leading all active drivers in average finishing at Atlanta with an average around 10th. So I'm taking Ryan Blaney.
Okay. Well, you don't need an excuse, By the way, that is an awesome mustache that sumbitch has. Oh my God. That's the best mustache since Dale Earnhardt.
Love to be tickled by it.
Yeah, never mind. All right. Let's go Brian next.
Oh, this is a really tough one. But I'm going to go out on a limb. Josh Berry in the 10. He starts 10th, driving the 21 car. He was the only driver to not be involved in an incident during all of Speed Weeks. The only one. Wasn't in an incident during the duels. Wasn't in an incident during the 500. No incidents. He's the only one. So
And
Josh Berry, I think, gets a win.
He wasn't in an incident in the Clash either.
Oh,
So
yeah.
imagine that. All right, Dan, you're next.
Well, I just put $20 on him. So I'm going to say he took the white flag first last week. He takes a checkered flag first this week. Carson Holsenbar.
What kind of odds did you get on him?
18-1.
Yeah, geez. They're not even stiff odds anymore, the guys. All right, I'm taking Christopher Bell, sticking with my love for Toyotas. But it is what it is. Bell is as good as it gets. And
Starts 32nd. He's going to have to work his way through, which isn't too bad during plate racing or drafting racing.
True that. Oh, I also have a note here, PJ.
Yes.
There is a newer Racing Nuggets up, and I don't know that we talked about that yet.
Oh, it's still an older one. I apologize. It was from back with the Tulsa shootout. We had a kiddo from up in Minnesota on that was running down there.
Oh,
so it's older.
What's his name?
It was Leighton Rose.
Okay.
Yeah. Good kid. Good kid.
Open wheeler, huh? That's all right. We like open wheelers too. It's okay. It's all good. My God, there has been some negative press towards our girl Natalie Decker this week.
Oh.
We saw what happened last week.
Oh.
We kind of listen. We can't really blame the whole thing on her. For one, her spotter told her to go high.
Brian Keselowski.
Brian Keselowski. And for two, Sam Mayer actually took the blame because he had no control of his car as it slid up across the racetrack. I would say that a experienced, prudent racer would have slowed way the hell down as they were coming up on a car that spun. But that's just me. I've never held a steering wheel, and it's hard to. It's much easier to be a Monday morning quarterback. Blah blah blah.
For sure.
But good God, there sure is a lot of negativity towards that young lady this week. Just because she likes to take her top down and walk around in a bra and all this other crap, she's marketing herself. See, that's what you have to do, I guess. I don't really know. We have that. We have social media. We have she sure is cute, and she's a young mother and all that other crap. But let's face facts. She has been in 46 NASCAR races, and she has finished on the lead lap 7 times. So, I see the clock is running. Here's something we would like you to remember. Real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR, produced by the famous gambling Las Vegas dude himself, Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Losey, who's worked very hard and very good. And Matt, you got another one to trim up for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.